Crawford making my prediction come through. Coming into the fight, I had him winning by decision. I thought he was the superior boxer. I thought he would be able to take a punch, and as long as he didn't stay there and exchange with Canelo, I thought he could do it. What surprised me is that there were times during the fight he did stand there and exchange with Canelo and took it. Took the body shots to the liver, took some headshots, exchanged, and still ended up winning this fight.
So I couldn't be any more prouder. My brother is a warrior. He didn't even want to let me and my brothers know. So, you know, I'm just so happy. I'm blessed that me and my family can get to share this one-of-one experience at the Legion Stadium.
If there's a rematch, can Canelo change anything? Can he have more success than what he had last night?
I just think Canelo needed to take more risks. To me personally, take more risks, let his hands go. But I understand Crawford is a great counterpuncher as well. But yeah, I feel like, you know, for him and a guy like Crawford, you gotta close the gap a little more.
When Terence Crawford stepped into the ring against Canelo Alvarez, few believed he could truly dominate. Most thought if he won, it would be razor-thin, controversial, maybe even needing the judges' generosity. Canelo was too big, too powerful, too experienced at the weight. Crawford was moving up, chasing greatness, but many assumed he would finally meet his ceiling. What unfolded shocked the boxing world. Crawford didn't just survive against Canelo. He controlled him, outthought him, and beat him decisively. This wasn't supposed to happen, and yet it did. To understand why this victory was so unexpected, we need to break down the perspectives that came pouring in after the fight.
Terence Crawford just beat Canelo Alvarez decisively to become the new super middleweight undisputed champion of the world, 3 times undisputed, and I'm just gonna say it, he's one of the greatest boxers of all time.
When W.A.D.E. Concept X described Crawford's victory, the emphasis was not on a narrow escape or lucky judges' scorecards, but on the decisiveness of the win. That distinction matters. For years, fans assumed if Crawford fought someone as formidable as Canelo at super middleweight, the best he could hope for would be to edge out a tactical decision. The expectation was that power, size, and ring experience would tilt heavily toward Canelo.
Terence Crawford just beat Canelo Alvarez decisively to become the new super middleweight undisputed champion of the world, 3 times undisputed, and I'm just gonna say it, he's one of the greatest boxers of all time.
Instead, Crawford didn't just win, he took control. W.A.D.E. framed it as Crawford becoming a 3-division undisputed champ, something almost unheard of in boxing history. That scale of achievement alone places him among the greatest. But what makes it even more unexpected is the way he did it. Canelo has built a career dismantling smaller men who dared move up. He punished them with body shots, made them wilt under pressure, and imposed his will. Crawford flipped the script. He became the better boxer, dictated range, and left no doubt in the outcome. For the boxing world, that was shocking. It wasn't supposed to look this clear. It wasn't supposed to look this one-sided. Yet that's what greatness looks like, defying the expectations of what's even possible.
My brother didn't want to tell me or my dad, but in the 8th round, he broke his hand. His hand looks like a balloon right now, so he's not going to say it, but I'm going to be the one to say it. He doesn't want to make no excuses, but he's fought on the biggest stage of the face of the planet.
Emiliano Vargas revealed that his brother had broken his hand in the 8th round of the fight, yet continued to push through without complaint. This kind of behind-the-scenes detail is crucial because it changes how we view the narrative.
It doesn't get no bigger than this. And I'm gonna say this again. My brother was working construction 8 years ago. You know, was in jail and completely changed his life and did a 180 and fought on the biggest stage of the face of the planet.
Fans already saw Canelo struggle to get inside on Crawford, but learning later that he was also dealing with a serious injury adds layers to the story. People might assume that Crawford's win is diminished because of it, but that misses the larger point. The unexpected part is that even with Canelo hampered, the dominant factor was still Crawford's superiority. Emiliano also contextualized the journey, reminding people that Crawford had once been in jail, working construction, and was never supposed to rise to these heights. That arc from obscurity and hardship to defeating one of boxing's biggest stars on the grandest stage reinforces how improbable this night really was. Greatness is not just about skills. It's about rewriting a destiny. Fans expected Canelo's power and resume to crush Crawford's ambitions, but Crawford turned his own personal history into fuel. That was the unexpected narrative twist. A man from so little conquering so much, even against the odds.
So I couldn't be any more prouder. My brother is a warrior. He didn't even want to let me and my brothers know. So, you know, I'm just so happy. I'm blessed that me and my family can get to share this one-of-one experience at the Legion Stadium.
In another statement, Emiliano Vargas spoke emotionally about how proud he was of his brother for fighting like a warrior, even hiding the injury from his own family. His words reflect the way boxing is often framed as more than a sport. It's about legacy, sacrifice, and family pride. This highlights why Crawford's win was so unexpected. For years, Canelo embodied the archetype of the warrior, the man who could absorb pain, keep fighting, and impose his will. Suddenly, the tables turned. It wasn't Canelo carrying that image. It was Crawford.
So I'm just happy, man. My brother's gonna be back. And my thing is this: if other fighters could become more champion with lesser skill, my brother will be back, he'll bounce back and become more champion.
Emiliano's pride shows that even in defeat, the spirit of resilience matters. But the shock is that it was Crawford who made Canelo appear second best. This was not something fans foresaw. The narrative was supposed to be Canelo walking down the smaller man, showing heart, and emerging victorious, as he so often has. Instead, Crawford became the embodiment of resilience in that ring, taking everything Canelo had and still dictating the fight. The emotional tone in Emiliano's comments underscores how jarring this outcome was for those who expected the familiar story.
Get your thoughts on the main event, man. Terence Crawford was spectacular yesterday.
Yeah, he was spectacular, man. I mean, he cemented his legacy. Canelo, his legacy is already cemented. So I just think that he was a better man that night, and he was just sharp.
When Emiliano later analyzed the main event, he admitted outright that Crawford was spectacular and that he cemented his legacy that night. This acknowledgement is powerful because it came from someone in Canelo's circle. Even when you account for Canelo's pre-established grace, Emiliano had to concede that Crawford was simply the better man on the night. That admission highlights how unexpected this was. In boxing, fighters rarely admit their opponent was flat out better. It's usually framed as I made mistakes or the judges didn't see it right. For Emiliano to recognize Crawford's sharpness, it validates that the shock wasn't imagined. Fans expected Canelo's cemented legacy to continue untouched.
Congratulations to Crawford, and what that meant to his legacy was a big jump, and also for Canelo, I mean, he's cemented already.
Instead, Crawford's performance didn't just protect his own reputation, it elevated it beyond debate. That flip, where the underdog steals the legacy-defining spotlight, was not what analysts predicted. It reminded the boxing world that even legends like Canelo can be outdone, and sometimes by men they were never supposed to lose to.
I just think Crawford just was good at, controlling the range, moving, not being there like everybody else is.
Lawrence King broke the fight down tactically, pointing to Crawford's mastery of range and movement. This observation cuts to the heart of why the outcome shocked so many. Canelo is famous for cutting off the ring, closing distance, and forcing exchanges where his power dominates. Against Crawford, that formula failed.
If there's a rematch, can Canelo change anything? Can he have more success than what he had last night?
I just think Canelo needed to take more risks. To me personally, take more risks, let his hands go. But I understand Crawford is a great counterpuncher as well. But I feel like, for him and a guy like Crawford, you gotta close the gap a little more.
Crawford wasn't just running. He was controlling distance so effectively that Canelo couldn't let his hands go with confidence. The unexpected part wasn't that Crawford was skilled. Everyone knew that, but that he executed at a level even Canelo couldn't adjust to. Lawrence also speculated about a potential rematch and whether Canelo could change anything by taking more risks. That question itself shows the surprise of the first fight. The expectation before was that Canelo wouldn't need to change much. His tried and true style would prevail. Afterward, the talk became about what Canelo would need to do differently just to compete. That role reversal was stunning. Nobody thought Crawford could force Canelo to be the one searching for answers.
Special fighter because he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back up from anything. He's usually the superior boxer in the ring. He finds a way to win, no matter who he's.
Stephen A. Smith admitted that he predicted Crawford would win by decision if he avoided standing toe-to-toe with Canelo. The shot came when Crawford not only boxed smart, but also exchanged in the pocket, absorbed Canelo's best body shots and head shots, and still emerged victorious.
No matter what power you have, what boxing skills you have, he is truly a generational kind of fighter. He wants to go in the ring and not just beat you, but show you he was the better man.
That was never part of the script. Analysts believe Crawford would need to box perfectly, avoid mistakes, and dance around power. Instead, he showed toughness many doubted he had at this higher weight. Crawford didn't just outbox Canelo. He proved he could take Canelo's power. That shattered one of the main arguments against him, but the size and strength gap would eventually catch up. Unexpectedly, it didn't. The image of Crawford eating Canelo's punches and firing back is one of the most shocking parts of the fight because it overturned the assumption that Canelo's power was the great equalizer. This was the night Crawford revealed not only skill, but granite in his chin and iron in his will. Stephen A. Smith later expanded on Crawford's qualities, calling him a generational fighter with a mean streak who always finds a way to win. That description reframes the fight as more than an upset. It becomes part of a broader story. The unexpected part isn't just that Crawford beat Canelo, but that he did so in a way that redefined how people view him. Before the fight, he was seen as a brilliant technician, maybe the best pound for pound, but with question marks about size and physicality. Afterward, he was no longer just a slick boxer. He was seen as a generational force, a man who could step up against anyone, regardless of power or pedigree, and still impose his will. This is why the win shocked so many. It wasn't just another checkmark on Crawford's resume. It was the performance that elevated him into that rare category where analysts stop asking, can he, and start saying he will. The unexpected became undeniable.
That's not what happened. He was able to, yes, use his legs when needed, but when he was also on the offensive, on the attack, he was sitting in that pocket and he was able to catch the shots from Canelo, counter, catch, counter, catch, counter.
Finally, W.A.D.E Concept X highlighted Crawford's ability to use his legs when necessary, but also sit in the pocket, catching and countering Canelo's power shots with discipline. This detail is crucial because it explains how Crawford pulled off what nobody thought possible.
That's not what happened. He was able to, yes, use his legs when needed, but when he was also on the offensive, on the attack, he was sitting in that pocket and he was able to catch the shots from Canelo, counter, catch, counter, catch, counter.
Fans expected Crawford to run, to rely purely on a voice. Instead, he mixed it up, showing versatility and balance. His defensive fundamentals were sharper than Canelo's, and when the power test came, he passed it. That blend of caution and aggression is what made the fight so shocking to watch. Nobody foresaw Crawford being the one to out-discipline Canelo in exchange. It wasn't just that Crawford had a strategy. It was that he executed with a confidence that stunned everyone. When a supposed smaller man walks into the fire, handles the heat, and comes out unscathed, it flips expectations upside down. That's why this win felt so improbable. Crawford didn't just survive, he thrived, and that's what left the boxing world speechless.